Good morning, guys. Welcome back to the Pure Goddess channel. My name is Gwenly. I'm glad to be back. It's been, I don't even know, 2 weeks or more. Yeah, pretty much. I've been getting a lot of rest. My son was off for a week and a half from school, so I was just, spending quality time with him and bonding and doing fun stuff at home. Also dealing with some pain, body pain, just from overworking my body. So that was not fun. I was really, that's what's scary when it comes to being a single parent and you don't have you don't have support. You don't have someone to come over and help you out if anything like that happens. I could barely get out of bed. Like Christmas week was really, really hard in that sense. So just a lot of rest and everything was fine. I'm doing better and taking it easy because sometimes the body tells you that you have to rest. And when you don't listen, things like that happen. So, lots of heating pad on my shoulder and my arm and my neck. Very hard to sleep. Just everything was like difficult. And also dealing with, the end of the year. I don't know if you guys felt, the pressure of the devil, the pressure of like the darkness trying to overcome us, trying to make us this energy of like pressure on us, like trying to have us go back to our old ways. Like for me, it's always like mentally. For example, I've taken I tried to do everything possible to start, my new year, like with a clean slate. Not that I'm discarding people, but, the people that are not meant to be in my life and anymore, take them out, remove them from my life, physically, by, physically it could mean not seeing them anymore, not talking to them, in person, on the phone, through text, on the phone. The hardest is always, spiritually, right? Because that's where they try to mess with you. Because first of all, it's the end of the year. Second, they are trying to communicate with us, right? The people that we're trying to remove from our lives. Doing spell work. I see in the spirit, so I could tell when I am being talked about by certain people, especially not categorizing, but I know people's energies, right? So when certain group of people or certain person I remove from my life, and I feel them, or I feel like they're nudging on my energy, they're talking about me, or whatever sensation I have, I know they're either doing whatever XYZ, right? And so just battling with that. And yeah, so just trying to spiritually, remove people from my life, from my energy, and taking it serious, I know God has asked me, has told me to be obedient and remove certain people months ago, but it was just not the right time for me. I couldn't do it, I was still attached, and I didn't quite see the bigger picture there. I didn't see the full truth, which is hurtful, so yeah, just seeing, it's cold, just seeing people's like truth, on how they really feel about you, and knowing that your intuition has always been correct, and it's just a lot. It's a lot that goes into it. My Christmas Eve, I was still, was that Christmas Eve? Yeah. Christmas Eve afternoon or morning, I was, running some errands with my son, and picking up some stuff at the store, like drive up at Target, and and I start getting like calls, like video calls, and I'm like, who the heck is this? Like, they're not saved on my phone, I have no idea. And it shows that it's my ex's sister, right? His younger sister. And I'm like, okay, like, we don't have communication like that. Whenever my son's dad's visited Oregon, they talk on the video, and she says hi to her nephew, right? Or says hi to me, and that's it. But nothing like we don't communicate, we don't talk, right? And she's a bit younger. I think she's like 8 years younger than me, so she's younger. But so she was contacting me, and I did not answer the calls. I'm like, okay. It did show like her initials, and you know, and then she sent a message like, oh, it's it's you know, this person's sister, and I want to see my nephew, or you know, I want to see him through the video. So I call my son's dad, and I'm like, you know, just to verify. I'm like, okay, you know, my reaction was like, what the F? Because everyone has free will, and why wasn't this done almost 4 years ago? You know, why now you want to communicate with your nephew and you want to be involved in his life, or even if it's just for Christmas? Why? You know, there's just no point, you know. And so I verified the phone number, and you know, I was just, I guess I was upset, you know. It's like, I basically told my ex off, you know. It's like, why, you know, like, he felt my wrath, like, he felt my strength and my power, right? He really, I gave it to him because it's like, that was the last straw for me, you know? And it's not like I was looking for the last thing to cut him off, because that's what's gonna happen before the end of the year, right? Because legally, I already made arrangements, I submitted paperwork, you know, for him not to be in our lives, so my son's lives legally. So, you know, it was just a matter of that week. You know, he, in a spiritual sense, he is like an energy vampire. He drains me. He does a lot of spell work, you know, just a lot of negativity, a lot of evil eye thrown at me. So I'm like always struggling, you know, very abusive. It doesn't matter how far it is, it could still be abusive. We are not together, it's still an abusive relationship, you know. Not consistent with his son, so many factors. So why? Because of society, because he's the father, he should stay in my son's life. He should be knowing all my business. You know, like, not that I tell him all my business, but in the sense of he is gonna know what we're doing every day, right? You know, just a lot of like abuse. A lot of abuse, a lot of manipulation and gaslighting, and you know, victim mentality. So I don't have time or the energy anymore for that type of shit, you know, in my life. So so that day I told him off. I just gave it to him, and I said, you know, it may not be your sister's fault that she's now communicating with me personally to talk to her nephew, because the narcissist that he is, you know, he does tend to scare people or be intimidating. So perhaps the sister was not feeling comfortable asking for my number or whatever. I don't know. Not to make excuses, but you know, I in the past have had fear and was afraid of this ex. And I still have my moments, you know, but it's just, You know, that's what happens when you are with a narcissist. It's scary. You don't feel safe. But, you know, the audacity of why are we being contacted after almost 4 years, when it could have been a long time ago. And you know, it's just, I don't care about your family, you know, like the things I was telling you. I don't care about your family if they have good intentions or not, or they're just being nosy or whatever it is. You know, they want to poke at the bear, or they're just genuinely being nice and thought of their distant nephew, you know? I mean, I know all the lies that was told about me, right? And that's not my responsibility. Um, that's his, and he needs to take account for it, and those emotions are for him. You know, there's nothing negative that has to be thought of or said about me, like how he has made. You know, a narcissist will put the blame all on the person they're hurting, and will make you mind fuck you mentally so much that you're gonna be the one thinking that you're the one that is actually doing the hurting, right? You're the problem. That's how bad it gets, right? And you know, everything was planned with him. Everything was planned with him, and everything was calculated. And you know, it took me a while to realize to actually, like, to see the truth, you know? But, yeah, so, you know, so just telling him how I felt, etc. And like, I know what it was, and I know it was intentional. And you know, I was so heated, not in a disrespectful way, but in a way that I'm telling you your truth, you know. Like, I know what you've done. I know you've lied on my name. I know you've made me think, like, you guys, let me tell you something. I guess I'll start, you know, I'll tell you the story, like, towards the end. So this person, you know, we lived together, and you know, when I was 6 months, before then everything was fine, you know, when we were dating and everything. But when I was 6 months pregnant with my son, everything changed, right? He changed. He showed who he really was. Very abusive. And I remember when I realized this, it was around Thanksgiving, around the holidays, 2020. And I asked, you know, I was talking to him, and I was like, oh, I want to go see my family for, you know, Thanksgiving. You know, a lot of Hispanics that are not from here, they don't really celebrate Thanksgiving like that. It's more of an American thing. So, you know, I want to go see my family. What do you think? Do you want to come? And he was like, no, like, you're not going. I'm like, what? You know, like, I was like, who the fuck is this, you know? Things really changed. And And like I felt emotionally trapped. I felt trapped, you know. I know, and I knew, I didn't know, but I know I had, now I know I had free will. I didn't know that I was, you know, growing up, it was like I was, you know, I can't even speak. Growing up, I was like very imprisoned in my mind, emotionally and mentally, because that's how my parents like made me feel, my mother. And she has so many, like, honestly, I feel like she is a narcissist as well. Growing up, how I was raised and how she treated me, and only me, and put my siblings against me, um, I was already like traumatized and abused, you know? So I felt like I needed to stay with him. I felt like I didn't have an option or a choice because what am I gonna do? I am pregnant and like, yes, I'm working, but I'm in another state. If I wanna go back to like stay with my family, like they're not healthy, you know? Um, and I just didn't have, you guys, from when I was 6 months pregnant till when my son was about to be born, like 9 months, right? Those were the worst months ever. You know, he showed all his true colors, and he thought that I should be fine with it because I was bound to him because I was pregnant with his child, right? He started coming home late. He wouldn't come home. He wouldn't answer. He just showed his true colors, right? He was being unfaithful with so many women. He had so many women, and they would call him. I was like, I couldn't even believe it. Like, how he's just being normal about it. Like, it was just, that was shocking to me, you know? Like, how can we live together? The apartment is under my name, and like, we're paying half the bills each, and you're doing all this crap because you think you have a hold on me because I'm pregnant, you know? And honestly, he brought me so down emotionally, mentally. It's like he knew what to do, right? I felt so weak because I had to be strong for my child, right? Um, you know, I was taking care of my baby, and it was very, very, you know, I was just trying to go day by day. And I just knew those last months, I just knew like, this is over, you know, there's no going back. And I don't know my plan yet. I don't know what to do because physically I don't feel strong, you know? And the months are passing by and I'm getting bigger and my baby is gonna be born soon, and you know, all these questions. And it was just very crazy, like, you know. And I was being strong for my child. It's like your body literally is taking a toll on you because you're creating, there's a human growing inside of you, you know. um you can't act or move how you used to before you're pregnant. And it's a very like, it's a very vulnerable, the most vulnerable in my life that I've ever been when I was pregnant. And when you do that to a woman, it breaks her. It really does something to her that, you know, she either turns dark and you break her, you break like that childlike person, that happy woman, or you get all that pain and transmute it into power, into strength, right? You have two options. You can't like let go, and you can't back down, you can't back away and just give up, you know? So I guess I had to play along, right? I had to play along because this person was doing all these things, you know? It's like he showed his real face. And what I perceived to be, you know, he would FaceTime his mom sometimes. When I was like, when I was in my last stage of pregnancy, and I just sensed something was off, you know? And so what had happened, you know, my son was born, and you know, we were at the hospital for like 3 days, and then we went back home. I never got help with with anything with my son. Changing a diaper, nothing. Everything I had to do. And I have a shitty mom who, even from a distance, like, no help. Had to do this, everything I had to learn. You know, and yes, I bought books so where I could watch videos, but going through this, like, abuse, like, from 6 months till my son was born, I had to worry about, like, protecting my mental health and my emotional health and protecting my baby and trying to do the best that I could, you know? Not that I didn't know anything, but it was really hard for me. You know, I didn't have anyone to help me. Just with the advice from the hospital, the clinic, nurses, thank God to them, because, you know, telling me how, and it's normal, you guys, not to know how to be a mother, how to take care of a newborn, right? That's why you get advice, you get papers, instructions on how to take care of your baby and things, right? The most important, vital things. But, you know, I had no help. And, you know, my family came to visit like a week and a half after my son was born, because he was born early. He's a 420 baby, but he was born on 411, so he was a week and a half early. And you know, my siblings came and my mother came, and they already knew what was going on. You know, I would cry to my mom. I didn't have no one else to talk to, and I would have cried to her, like, I can't do this anymore. You know, I can't handle this anymore. Like, my son's gonna be born. Like, I don't want him to grow up in this shit, you know? And this wasn't my reality a few months ago. So what the fuck is going on? Like, I need to fucking think fast, you know? Like, I need to do something about it, you know? Like, I'm telling you, this guy, he would drain the fuck out of my energy. You know, like, he was a user, energetic user, spiritually abusive as well, you know? And everything was, like, planned, you guys. Everything was a tactic. Why do you think I have so much trust issues? You know, it was really bad. And there's no shame from this person till this day, till now. because I'm not that person to like shame you like every second that I have, because that's toxic. You know, after, you know, I separated from him, I still want the best, the most decent relationship with him, like with like parenting, you know. And it was hard for me to be healing from that shit and still talking on the phone with him, like on video, to see his baby or his son, right? So I really tried the absolute best to like have a healthier type of relationship, just due to my son, you know. And until now, you know, I know, you know, I'm not perfect. There's been arguments on the phone, but nothing like to the extreme where my son is like crying. That's how bad I've had to heal, like I've held back, right? Um from not going off on him, because if my son is saying that, that's a toxic environment. If my son's saying that, he's gonna be very sad. Why are you acting like this with my father, you know? And I don't care how young or how old he is. It's trauma for my son. So until now, the last time he came to visit, I got into a big argument with him. Because he, you know, it's just the fact that he makes me look so bad to his people, to his family. I could care less what others think of me, but you're in my home and you're like still audacity to like be that person, like I'm the bad guy. That's not gonna happen, and you're done with that shit, right? Like I let it slide because of my son. That was my excuse. I don't want him to see his parents fighting, even if he saw his father 2 or 3 times a year, you know. And no, like my life is not picture perfect. My life is not like, you know, that was not the goal. It's just I don't want it to be toxic. I want it to be like in a healthier type of thing, you know. I know what was toxic as I grew up in that environment, and it's very traumatizing when your parents fight and argue. And that day, you know, I was doing that shopping, I was just telling him, you know, I was just like, the audacity of you doing all this shit to me and making me look like I'm the other woman as well. You guys, after I left, I had to leave. I had to like leave without telling him, because when I left our apartment with my newborn, he was 3 months old, I got a warning. I got signs. I got a warning, like I must leave, from God, from my angels, from my guides. That was the first time that I, like, urgent, like, you have to leave as soon as possible. Leave this house, because it's gonna get bad. And I escaped. Like, I didn't, a week before, a few days before, once again, we talked, and I said, you know, it wasn't talking anymore, because I tried everything in the book to make things work. If it wasn't relationship anymore, as a parent, right? As the parents of our baby, let's make this work. We live together. And nothing. He didn't give a shit. He would come home from work expecting dinner to be made. I was a good wife. We weren't legally married, but you know, had dinner ready. He would just be watching TV. Never said, can I help you with anything? Oh, I'm always with the baby, always with my son, doing everything. If he had to do something, it was like a huge deal, right? And he would go leave whenever he wanted. Lie, obviously. I'm going here, and he wouldn't be back for hours. So I said, hey, since you're not helping, since I need help, since, you know, the baby is like a newborn, like, I should go stay with my family for a little while, you know, for them to help me. My parents will pay my ticket my plane ticket, because I wasn't working anymore, you know. I stopped working like 2 weeks before I had my son. And he said, no, you could leave, but my son is staying. It was like, what? And I just, like, I'm not gonna, you know, your baby, if you're breastfeeding him, like, they're gonna feel everything within you. I'm like, I don't want to make it worse for him. I don't want to argue. Like, that's just, you know, your milk is not gonna be good. So from there, it was like a threat. Like, I'm being controlled by you now, you know? He tried to take everything from me. And isolate me and everything, right? And then a few days later, I got that warning, like, you need to leave right away. And I contacted my family, and they paid for a plane ticket. And, you know, I packed my son's things, majority, and like what I was using at the moment, everything I left there. Everything else was left, right? And I contacted a friend who I was distant with. We were best friends back in the day, but not at that time. But I asked for her help because I had no one else, right? I was 3 months, like, postpartum. And she paid for my hotel the night before I left, just so it's not so, like, frightening as it was at that moment, right? And I was actually talking to, from the clinic or from like the state, I was talking to like a family coach, or like, you know, a person who comes and sees you after you have your baby, right? It wasn't a doula or anything. It was just like a, you know, like part of like the community or whatever. And I was telling her, this is what's going on. I'm gonna be leaving to my family in Oregon. So, like, I'm not, like, illegally doing something bad. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is what's going on. This is, like, a domestic violence case. And, that's, you know, I need to tell someone from the state or whatever. You know, I had to plan everything very, very, like, precise. Had to take out my son's birth certificate and like make copies or whatever, like, so everything was done. And then, you know, after my friend dropped me off at the hotel near the airport with my son, you know, I ordered takeout, and I just stayed in the hotel room, and for the first time in months and months, I felt peace again, you know, just for that second with my baby. And I didn't feel like afraid, anxious, you know, walking on eggshells. And from that day, my friend never talked to me again. And this was supposed to be my best friend, right? And that was very hurtful. That was very hurtful. And I think after 2 years, she contacted me. And I had left some stuff with her too. I'm like, I'm gonna need this stuff. Like, these are the stuff I would like to, like, take with me, but I can't, right? So if you could, like, ship it to me, you know, in the next month or two, that would be awesome. And she sold all my stuff, or she donated, I don't know what she did with it. But, so, you know, I understand it's material stuff, but, you know, it's just the action that was taken. So I'm losing my train of thought. So I get to my family's house, you know, like we're in Oregon, and we're fine, we're safe, we made it, right? And what's it called? And a few weeks later, my ex's, his siblings and his ex and the mother of his daughter and his daughter, they're like crossing the border, right, illegally, because the, you know, US is helping them because of whatever, and they're crossing, and I'm like, what? You know, like, this was his plan the whole time, right? You need money for things like that, right? It's not free. And so that's why I was so urged or nudged, like, to leave my home because of what was about to happen. And I never doubted. Yes, I doubt my guides, my angels, God sometimes, you know, but not to the extent where it's something serious, like, go for it, do it now. Never doubted them again. Never. And finding that out, and taking over my house and my things and everything, like, he stole so much from me, you know, and everything was planned. And that's what he did to me. And made everyone, oh, and right away they got together. A few months later, I was getting dreams. I was getting visions that he was gonna have another baby. And I'm like, I asked him 2 times. I'm like, I don't give a shit who you're with because we're not together. Like, I don't care. But just be truthful. Are you gonna have a kid? No. You know, I keep getting visions and dreams. Are you having a baby? No. And the day comes. It was in the summer of, I don't know what year, last year. I was working, and he calls me in the video where I call him. I was gonna talk to him about his son, and he's wearing like a festive shirt, and I see he's in a hospital. Like, everything okay? Like, you know, what's up? Like, are you okay? Yes, I'm okay. And he's laughing. I'm like, what's going on? Is your family okay? Like, oh, my baby's gonna be born. My baby was just born. And I was like, what? You know? And he was laughing at me. Like, it was the most, like, it was so funny. Like, another betrayal to you. Like, my face to him was so funny, right? And I was just like, why, after everything you've done to me? You know, I started seeing he doesn't want to, he wants to be a shitty father. You know, he doesn't want to be truthful. He doesn't want to have a healthy relationship, a co-parenting relationship in that sense. And so many backstabs, you know? And I was just like, wow. And these people, because I could care less who he's with. I don't talk shit about any female he's with because I don't give a fuck. He chose someone else. Take him. Like, I'm never gonna fight for no man. Never. But when they team tag to, like, throw spell work at me, do witchcraft, talk behind my back, say lies behind my back, throw evil eye at me, they hate me, there's gonna be an issue, right? My ex told everyone in his circle and his family that I was the other woman, basically. He took everything away from me, a narcissist, and he lied, you know, basically saying that I took his child away from him. But like, 2 weeks later, you had a whole ass family. And you created another child, you know, with this family. So, a lot of lies, a lot of shit talking behind my back. And I've been, like, quiet for so long just to keep the peace between, like, the co-parenting with my son. How much I've had to swallow, my pride I've had to swallow with all this, right? Until I got to a point where I was like, I can't do it anymore. Like, it's not worth it, you know? Your son knew you, and he knows you still. But from the 24th of last year, no more contact. You're done because you're still playing. Like, you're still getting, like, so, he's just happy. You know, he was just so happy that his sister's contacting me. And I got so upset. Not in the way he wanted, because he's done, right? I cut him off. It was just, like, and I told her the truth, you know, I told the sister all the truth. Like, I know he said some bullshit lie, made up some bullshit story of me, and lied on me, you know, and made me look like the bad person, like, definitely, 100%. And I sent her a long message, because I don't want to see no one's face, I don't want to hear no one. I'm like, this is what happened, this is the injustice that happened. Your brother is a very, very evil person, and you know, and there's gonna be justice, and I am not gonna accept your relationship with my son or your family or anyone, because it's the audacity of you trying, like, why do you want to be in our lives now? What changed? You know, are you ashamed of yourself? Are you embarrassed? Like, living in my own home that I had to, like, run away from because of your fucking brother, because of the abuse that was going on there. And, you know, like, I could be so much more, I could be so pissed off, I could be so fired up, but material is material. Like, I don't care about that stuff. I care about who you are and how you are, like, your character, your morals, your values, how you treat others. That's what I care about. I don't care if you have nothing on your back. Use all my shit, I don't care. And that's when I found out that his family was coming, I didn't care. they have nothing on their back, whatever they need is to their disposal. And come on, my ex is a liar. So even if I said it, he would still give it to them, right? Because he's just a user. Like, he doesn't give a crap. But as a human being, I'm gonna be a good-hearted person. Okay? That's just who I am. And that's why a lot of the time, like, in my life, a lot of, you know, like, events, like, I've been taken advantage of because people see the heart that I have. People see how I am in situations. And how much I could take. And how strong I am. I never give up. But when I'm done, I'm done. My cutoff game is real strong. And when you're done, right? I will do things right. And that's it. You know, I'm not gonna like hit below the belt. But I will put you in your place. And that brings me peace, and I will let you go, you know? So that's that story. Excuse me. And yeah, guys, just dealing with so from the end of the year, I don't know if you guys feel all these energies, you know, trying to pull you back to like old habits and everything, you know. But yeah, that's the story. I'm gonna cut the video now because it's been almost an hour. I hope you guys have a good day. See you guys later. Bye.